Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. This is just going to be a quick update video, and then I'm going to pause and catch my breath for a minute before I jump. I tried to jump into the next video too quick, so I just want to kind of get this part out of the way and then just unplug for a minute, and not long. I'll probably get back on it later tonight. Clear my head and then jump back into this, because we got off track here. Now, how many people will go on YouTube and say that? I will, because she is the spirit of truth, and you got to tell the truth. A lot of people don't understand that we're comprised of a lot of different parts. We've got our soul, and this soul is kind of like that little fractal spark of the Father. And just like we described in, like, I think it was one of the last two videos where we were reading out of the Nag Hammadi about the father, the mother, the child. And when the child was created, he asked for a partner to work with, and he was given mind. Mind is kind of like our partner, but it's more like a tool. It's more like, like don't hang on my every description here, but it's kind of like a really advanced, AI that we work with, that spirit also interacts with. So think of like Iron Man and Friday, right? Or Suit Lady and Spider-Man Homecoming. It's kind of like that. So we can get really good information, but what we tend to want to do, even if we don't realize we're doing it, because there is a creative aspect to all this stuff. We can make breadcrumbs appear. Like, we can want to find connections so bad that we'll find them. Seek and you shall find. Okay, so we can start off being right, and then it's really easy to kind of get off track. And when you start getting off track like that, you got to hit pause. You got to be like, okay, everybody stop, everybody calm down. Okay, it's not all bull crap, but we got off track. And this is how you correct that. It's what I did last night. You hear me talk about the protocols a lot. If you just scroll back in my videos, you'll find them. It's a method that she taught me, and that we taught everybody else, how to empty your cup. In order to see the light of wisdom, you must first empty your cup. Or as Yoda said, you must unlearn what you've learned. And we used the metaphor the other day. It's like a laptop. Sometimes you got to wipe the hard drive to run clean stuff. I kind of got out of the habit of doing it every single day, which that's my bad. When I had a couple big things happen, I kind of assumed like that was the main thing she was looking for me to do. You got to do it every day. You got to detach from your information every single day. If you flush your hard drive of everything, then what is actually true will remain. Because a lot of times it's the biggest key things are not the things that you find, but the things that she tells you that you weren't expecting. So I did a really hardcore flush last night. I did a really hardcore reboot, reset, wipe the hard drive, because it didn't feel right. It was too close to today, and I know the primary sense is feeling, and I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, something's off. Maybe I'm taking in too much of other people's information, and I need to get back to where I was. And because that's why I operated for a long time, I didn't look at everybody's information. You get a whole lot of new people. They want to share things with you. You got to wait for her to share them. Okay, so like Kenneth's channel, like that was her sharing. But either which way, everybody can just stop for a minute and breathe, because the rapture isn't going to be here in the next couple of days. It just isn't. She clarified that. Once I wiped my hard drive and then went back and looked at everything the way she wanted me to look at everything, because I wanted clarification. That's what I asked for, clarification. And I got it. I got clarification. I can show you. And the thing is, the clarification that I was shown matches up to what she led me to back in July. Now, it was through a couple different means. It was through some of the different information videos and stuff that she led me to. Some of this being like ancient stuff, not Bible stuff. If you think you're going to find all your answers in your Bible, well, good luck with that. But either which way, the clarification that I received out of the Bible matched what she originally showed me. There's a reason why she kicked this off with the Destroyer event. And we're going to explain that here in a video coming up. I just need a minute to reset. There's a couple things that kind of got under my skin, and I'm going to deal with that real quick so that I can refocus, because we have to right now I am wiping the whiteboard clean, and we're going to start filling it in again. And a lot of this stuff, like I was writing the notes for today's video when she showed me more. And then I immediately had to call my friend, because that's why she paired me up with somebody who is a knowledgeable astrologer. Because that's where you're going to find a lot of the hidden pieces. And that's also why the church tells you, don't look at astrology. Don't, like, pretty much everything they tell you not to look at is where the stuff is hidden. But it completely cleared up like the book of Revelations for me. When I wiped my hard drive, she started putting it back together. That's what you have to do sometimes to move forward. In order to create, sometimes you have to destroy. If you want to keep creating, you have to keep destroying what you've already built. You have to keep breaking down your knowledge. So yeah, I've got a new time frame, but at the same time, it's going to remain a little nebulous. So one of the things that remains true is what I was saying, in the last few videos, talking about this is where the sidewalk ends. Yeah, we have a time frame, but it's not going to be as narrow as you would like. It's going to sneak up on you. So I will go ahead right now and kind of give you a bit of a teaser, because this is like the one big thing that she wanted me to correct. And my friend's not going to like this, but it is what it is. I have to take my pills quite a bit too, when she corrects me. But I would rather stop what I'm doing and be corrected than keep going down the wrong path. You have to be aware of when your mind is kind of like taking over. Okay, so we'll do this real quick, and then we're going to reset, and then I'll be back in another video. But if you want to know a little teaser about in regards to the whole clearing up when the rapture happens, then don't go away. Okay, to give a little bit of a teaser and to clear this one thing up, we're going to be looking at Thessalonians 5 through 9. Okay, now the thing about this is, the reason I can see the bigger picture is because I'm working with all the material plus her. Okay, if you continue to go by what authority set out for you, and they say you're only allowed to read this, You're not going to get it. Okay? I'm working with all the books. The ones that they let you read and the ones they tried to make sure you never read. But if she wants you to read them, she'll save them, which she did. So this is going to clear something up. In the Bible, when they talk about the day of the Lord, that is the same thing that I call the destroyer event. And it's also most of the Revelation judgments all wrapped up into one. These things are not spread out over 7 years. But let's just stick to this one part, and then I'll take my little break and come back more focused. Thessalonians 5-9. Now, or 5:9. I got most of the chapter here, though. Now, brothers and sisters, about times and dates, we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. He's talking about the destroyer event. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness, so that this day should surprise you like a thief. That means if you're connected to the right thing, you're going to get a heads up. And I love this next line once I read it, because the apostles knew more than you think they did. It's not like when your brain is conditioned to think nothing exists outside the Bible, you're very, very limited. They knew. I know they knew. He says, you are all children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. So he's talking about when he says children of the light. When he says children of the day. So then let us not be like others who are asleep. Let us be awake and sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night, and those who get drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, the sun overhead, let us be sober, putting on faith and love as a breastplate, and hope of salvation as a helmet. This next line is the big issue that she wants me to correct. For God did not appoint us to suffer wrath, but to receive salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ. He died for us so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Okay, here's the thing she wanted me to correct. For God did not appoint us to suffer wrath. So what a lot of people, including my friends, are misconstruing that is because of what church ultimately taught us to do, which is break everything down into little verses so that we can cherry pick. That does not mean that you do not have to see the tribulation. It does not mean that. It doesn't. It's right there. She connected all the dots. God did not appoint us to suffer wrath. Okay? The wrath part connects to the part connects to two things when it comes to Revelation and what the rapture actually is. Okay, here's when it happens. So this is from Revelations 14:14 through 20. The harvest of the earth. Ah, dang it. This is why I gotta redo my notes. This is just basically the this is the wrong thing. It's the right verses, but I don't have the actual verses. This is kind of like a summary of the verses. This is portrayed as the Son of Man sitting on a cloud wearing a golden crown and holding a sharp sickle. An angel comes out of the temple and tells him that the time to reap has come, and so the earth is harvested. This is often interpreted as a gathering of the righteous. Yep. Then the second part is the grapes of wrath. In this scene, another angel, also with a sharp sickle, is commanded by an angel from the altar to gather the clusters of grapes from the earth's vine. These grapes are thrown into the great winepress of God's wrath, symbolizing the judgment and punishment of the wicked. This is the exact same thing as the wheat and the tares. So the wheat is harvested and taken into the barn. The tares are tossed into the fire. Okay, so this is when it happens. There isn't one that makes you escape all of it. You're going to see some pretty big stuff. But the wrath part, when this is taking place, is between the trumpets and the bowls. Because the bowls, the bowl judgments, that's the wrath part. That is the complete final destruction of the world. And that is what you are not appointed to. You're not going to be destroyed with the world. It does not mean you're not going to see the trumpets, because the trumpets are going to be pretty freaking wild too. So the only thing you're what that means is like before the final destruction, like it's already going, like you're going to see some of this stuff and be like, what the hell? Like this, get me out of here. You're going to see some pretty crazy stuff. But before that final stage, then you will be taken out. It does not mean that you'll never see any of it. So she wanted me to be very, very clear about that and make these connections between Thessalonians, the part in Revelation where it's talking about the angels that are doing the harvesting, and then the bowl judgments, because the bowl judgments is the wrath. And as soon as the trumpets finish, then they come in and do the harvest. So I assume a lot of people would hear that and be like, oh, it's going to be another couple years. No, it isn't. I need a minute to kind of collect myself. But no, it isn't. You know, like Paul said, we are children of the light and children of the day. Well, the light, Lumen, warned us. She's been warning for a while, but the bigger warnings came last month. So the trail of breadcrumbs, the signs were going to run out this month. But if she's, you know, she didn't start off by warning us saying like, oh, the 7 years of tribulation are going to begin. We are already in it. We've been in it. The 4 horsemen, they've already rode. So a lot of people that follow other people and are like, this person's got it all figured out. No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm getting it straight from the tap. And what she showed me earlier, I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, it's literally like right there. This is also why she paired me with an astrologer. And I just need a minute to collect myself, and then we're going to come back and get into this. Because in the grand scheme of things, it still ain't far off. I have a ballpark window, and that's about as far as I'm willing to go. But oh boy, she laid a lot on me today. We're going to straighten out a lot when it comes to understanding the book of Revelations, because the way so many people are putting this book together, almost like they're trying to make this chapter by chapter timeline. Half of this stuff has already happened. Some of it happens in the outside world. Some of it happens in everybody's inside world. Some of it happens in the microscopic world. It's all over the freaking place. But they're trying to make this fit in this big like left behind scenario timeline, and that's not how it works. If you consider what I just said, that the 4 horsemen have already gone. And then I also said that starting like the whole destroyer event, that's like from the 6th seal through the end of it. So it's all going to happen in a very short period of time, just like she said. But we went and got off all track because we're trying to decode this freaking iPet Goat 2, which still has a lot of stuff to it, but we made some assumptions. We made some assumptions and we were wrong. But there is one more clue in that, a clue that I saw a long time ago, and I didn't know how it fit. Now it kind of does. But the biggest thing is like, forget everything you think you know. Forget everything you think you know. Forget everything you think you know. A lot of this stuff has already happened. So apart from, you know, the different sets of judgments that people know, there's all this, you know, filler in Revelations. And like I said, some of it's outer world, some of it's inner world, some of it's microscopic world, some of it is in the upper world. It's all over the freaking place. And people are trying to make it mean what they think it's going to mean. And a lot of this stuff that people have been talking about for a long ass time ain't going to happen. They're waiting for some evil, you know, Grand Admiral Thrawn from Star Wars to like rise to the world stage and I am the Antichrist. That ain't going to happen. I know exactly what that is. I've already dealt with it. That's one of those inner world things. We'll talk about that later. You know, and some of those beasts aren't what they think they are. A lot of this stuff has already been happening. It really took off. Like the whole horseman thing was like 2020. Yeah, 4 freaking years ago. But we're gonna get into it. But yeah, there's not gonna be like a Left Behind style rapture where everyone's taking out of here before the tribulation starts. Not gonna happen. It's already started. We've been in it. But the big one that everyone is waiting for, like when you consider what I said about how it starts with like the 6th seal, and then everything beyond that being like this one event. Like, I don't know exactly how condensed this event is. You know, I'm trying to get a grasp of it from the other places that it shows up in, from like the last time, which was like 3,600 years ago, something like that. But it's pretty quick. And it sneaks up on you fast. So it's just like a sequence of events. It's almost like these things that they detail could be like almost like hour by hour. It's that quick. There's one point of contention in there that does not make sense. It's either put there in error, or because when you're having these types of visions, you're outside of linear time streams, so time can be a little bit wonky. Maybe that period is like 5 hours. It ain't 5 months. Can't be. Nah, I'm talking about the 5th trumpet. But yeah, we're gonna break all this stuff down. But just to be clear, everybody can like, whoosa. Just pause for a minute.
Fuck! No. Remember your pressure points.
Do my exercise.
I'll let your boy.
Woosa.
Woosah.
20.
Still gonna go through some rocky times here. And like she said, trail of breadcrumbs kind of ended today. There's only one other marker that I know of. I mentioned it the other day, and it turns out that actually is important. It's an astrological marker, and it's not some big one. It's not some big alignment. It's not some big constellation. It's just one frickin' planet switching into a different house. But that one planet switching into a different house is a big deal, because that is the final sweeping up of what was started when this process started. So it's going to be somewhere around there. But let me reboot for a minute, and then I'll be back here shortly. I'll get back on this tonight. I got 2 things that I want to do. I also want to deal with the thing that's getting under my skin so I can clear my head and move forward, because the closer we get to this, putting the truth out there attracts a lot of insects, so to speak. And there's a lot of things that I do talk about on this channel that some people aren't just going to hear, or depends on what video they come in on, but it has to be said. And I think that last remaining big authoritarian system that hasn't fallen yet is going to fall soon, like, because it has to do with that planet. And it also is indicated, it's showing up in the remote viewers stuff, but you would have to know what it is that you're looking for. Either which way, it still ain't far off. But what that means is the stuff, if you want to go back and see where we started with this, go back to that first big, well, there was 2 July 15th videos, but one was like kind of a quick one, and then I did a big one. Let's go back and refresh on that, because the big thing that I talk about in there is what we're talking about. That's the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord, the destroyer event, it's the same thing. So that clip that I showed you the other day from the remote viewers, like what he's detailing in this little clip, I still got to dig through their site and find the whole session. There's got to be other stuff in there. But what he's showing you right here, this is the bulls. This is the wrath part. Okay, this is like what happens right after you're taken out of here. Like, that's how close it is. So refresh on this real quick.
Target reveal here. Entities in the spacecraft, Earth's atmosphere, current time.
My S3 data consolidation was thermal heat radiates and parts people. The air is very disturbed, compressed, and swirls and eddies. Over the planet, high-pitched radio frequencies, ionized radiation, a pulse, a wave, and then the bodies. A huge rift cracks open. Energy rips, magma erupts, gushes, continental rift, tremendous forces, cataclysm. I don't see how this can be survivable. Open fissure. Is this Earth? Might be another planet. Then something like a bolt slices the air, focused energy, a thunderclap, a whirlwind, megatornadoes. Then this, screech, radio frequencies off the chart, magnetosphere swarm. The swarm is a series of satellites that measure Earth's magnetism. That is weird.
The nice thing about knowing that there's no more signs, and we have a general timeline, which means once we get this sorted out, we can let it go and we can focus on what we need to focus on. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's also in those chapters in Thessalonians, like that's going to be like what you need to focus on now. Like the last few important things to straightening yourself out. There's not going to be time to do like a whole big thing. There's no time to like teach everybody how to do what I did. We just need to focus on the key things you need to get right with God the Father, Jesus' Father, as we go into this time period. Like, that's the main focus. And then doing a lot more videos, trying to connect everybody more to the light, teaching them how to connect more to the light. If you're connecting to the real thing, it should bring you inspiration, joy, happiness, love, faith, hope. Unlike all these people that keep attacking me that say I'm freaking doing some tricky thing with the devil. I'm like, by their fruits you shall know them. I'm gonna deal with that, get reset, and circle back, and then hopefully, maybe soon, because I need the other friend who's more knowledgeable at the astrology things to explain some of this. I've got the rough draft of it, Okay. All that four horsemen stuff is astrological. And it's already happened. But the back end of that action is coming up. So, all right, gonna hop off for right now. I'll be back here soon. Chris and Lumen. See you next time.